we can't go into 2025 trading if we don't have a plan, if we don't have a system. So in this video, we're just going to be basically going over my 2025 trading system, my rules, some things that, I'm going to take into this trading, and hopefully you guys, if you're also starting your journey or if you're already on your journey, can take some value from this video, can kind of just see like some things that I'm doing differently, some things that are working for me that possibly could be working for you. So without all the yapping, let's get on the 2025 trading system. Now, just some couple things. One thing that I do want to talk about really quickly before we get into the video is your boy has recently gotten a job. So things are going to be a bit different now, So, because I think I'm going to be working from like 6 in the morning to 6 p.m. So some things have to adapt in my trading. I have to kind of like adapt my routine and kind of see like how I'm going to structure my day and how I'm even going to be trading. I got to find a way, whether that be trading London session, trading Asian session. I just have to figure that out. I'll keep you guys updated on that after like a week of me working and kind of seeing the timing and everything. But that still doesn't mean that we can't have a system and that we can't build the trading system, okay? So you don't have to do exactly what I'm doing. You can do your own, but kind of just take some inspiration from this. So your system should basically include how much are you risking per trade? What is your max? What is your max daily loss? Can't spell. What are you trading? Whether that be currency, crypto, stocks, forex, whatever. So what are you trading? What session, right? So what time are you trading? And how many trades? Okay, so this is kind of the fundamentals that you should build your system around. Okay, so for me, how much am I risking per trade? So what I do is I risk 1%. 1% per trade is how much I risk. Now, sometimes I risk I risk 0.50%. So let's say for example, right, you have a 10K funded or challenge, right? 1% of this is $100. So if you're risking 1% and you're aiming for a 1 to 2, which is something that I didn't add here, like what is your risk to reward? My risk to reward minimum is a 1 to 2, right? Depending on the trade, sometimes I'll let it ride to a 1 to 3, 1 to 4, or a 1 to 5, or so on and so on. But this is the minimum that I like to aim for just to secure some profits. So on a 10K funded account, you're risking $100 to make $200. Okay, so let's say the target for this 10K account is $1,000 to pass the funded challenge, which is 10%. So you need to win five trades in order to pass this challenge at 1 to 2, risking 1% per trade. It's gonna be double this if you're risking 0.5%. But what I like to do is I like to risk 1%, aiming for a minimum of 1 to 2. This is exactly what I did to pass my funded challenge, the 6K funded challenge that I blew now. But this is kind of the risk that I was taking on. That's how much I risk per trade. Now this could be different for you. For example, if it's a 15K account, that 1% is 150 for $300. Okay, so on a 15K account, 1% is 150, 2% is $300. So you're still risking, you still have a 1.2 risk to reward, which is why I tell you guys that the numbers don't matter. It's all about your risk. So ideally, you don't want to be risking more than 1% per trade. Okay, so my max daily loss is 2%. This is my max daily loss. And how many, because this ties into this, how many trades I take, 2 max trades per day. So if I take 2 trades at 1%, so 2 trades, this is my @ symbol, at 1%, and I lose both of these, if I lose 2 trades, I'm done for the day. Now, most prop firms, most challenges, for example, at 10K, the max daily loss is like 4%, depending on the, like if you're doing a 1-step or a 2-step, but most of them are 4%. So this keeps me under this. So on a 10K, I can lose up to 4% a day, but I have my own system, which is 2% a day, 2 trades, 2 max trades. Now, sometimes depending on the day, you can take 3 trades or maybe even 4 trades. This is my at 0.5%, which still adds up to 2 trades at 1%. Which is still keeps you under this daily drawdown limit. Okay, so that's not bad. So let's go ahead and do this. So how much am I risking per trade? 5 to 1% per trade. What is my max daily loss? 2 losses at 2%, or 4 losses at 0.5% for a total drawdown of 2%. Now, next up on the system is, what are you trading? What I trade is, if you guys didn't know by now, well, I used to trade stocks starting out, but now I trade Forex. So Forex, Euro USD. This is the only pair that I have been trading since I started my trading journey, taking it seriously a year ago. I only trade the Euro USD. So I trade one pair, 1% per trade, 2 losses, and the time. So the session that you trade is what time. So there's London session, there's New York session, there's New York close, there's London close as well. There's also Asian session. So the session that I trade is, so I trade New York specifically. Well, this is like my usual setup. As I said, things are gonna have to change. Things are gonna have to adapt based on the time that I'm gonna be working on. But just to kind of show you guys, London is from 3 to 5 a.m. New York is from 7 to 11 a.m. Asian session from 7 p.m. to midnight New York time. So the session that I trade, New York. So usually I'm on the charts from, depending on your time zone, but for me, central timing, New York would be 9 to 11 a.m. For me here, central time, this would be 8 to 10 a.m. But this is New York time, or not New York time, Eastern Central Time. So I'm trading the Euro at 9 to 11 a.m., risking 1% per trade, taking a max of 2 losses or 4 losses of 0.5. Usually I don't really take more than like 2 or 3 trades. So most of the time I don't have to worry about this. Most of the time, ideally, I trade like 1 A+ trade a day, and then I'm done for the day. I'll wait for the next day. So how many trades? 2 to 4 trades, bro. Honestly, 4 trades sounds crazy, honestly, because usually I trade like once or twice, maybe 3 times, because I'll trade like New York and then Asian session, which is PM session, but that's very, very rare. So it'll be like the AM, New York AM, and PM, which is from 2 to 3 p.m. These are also the 2 Super Bowl time frames. The next thing that I'm going to be adding here to my system is, what are my rules? I talked about in previous videos how important your rules are and how important it is to stick to your rules. My rules are A+ setups only. A+ setup is basically where the odds are mostly in your favor. You know, it's a high probability trade. So one of my rules is A+ setups only. 2 losses equals break. So after 2 losses, so let's say I take 1 trade per day and I lose 2 days in a row. On the 3rd day, I'm taking a break. And for example, as I said here, sometimes I would take 2 trades a day. If I lose 2 trades in a day, the next day I'll take a break. This is something that I'm adding to my system in 2025, because in 2024 I would take 2 losses and I would continue trading, and then I would take another loss, continue trading, even though they're still risking 1% per loss. It still affected the way that I was performing in my trading. So this is a new rule that I'm adding to my system in 2025, which is after I take 2 losses, I'm taking a break, and then I'm coming back the next day after those 2 losses. Another rule that I'm also adding to this 2025 is 3 to 4% drawdown a week. I don't want to be over 3 or 4% in drawdown in a week, because ideally I only want to be trading 3 days a week. I only want to be taking 3 to 6 trades a week max, 8 plus only, risking 1%. So once I get to the drawdown of 3 to 4%, as I talked about earlier, the daily drawdown. I was on a 15K account. It was a 1-step account, and the daily drawdown, the max daily drawdown was like 4%. And then the max drawdown, max total loss, meaning the amount that you can lose in total to blow your account, was 6%. So on that 15K account, that 6% was $900. So this rule helps me to not blow my account, basically. As you guys saw, I blew my 6K account because I didn't have these rules set in place, where after I took 2 losses, I didn't take a break. After I was in drawdown 3 to 4%, I wouldn't stop trading. I would continue trading, which is what led me to be in 6% drawdown, 7% drawdown in a week, and then in 2 weeks my account was gone. So this kind of just helps me to stay in the game longer, because one thing that I've learned is that it's not about how fast can you get a payout, but how long you can stay in the game and make consistent payouts over time. So now that I have my system, I have my rules, now I'm going to need my model, which is how I'm actually going to be entering a trade and how I'm going to, like, basically the trading itself. So this is basically the strategy that everybody talks about. What's your strategy? What's your model? What's your entry model, basically? And my entry model, or my things that I take an entry from, are fair value gaps, inverse fair value gaps, order blocks, and market structure shift. What else? Liquidity sweep. These are my confluences for entering a trade. And then my actual model itself. So there's different models that I've been back testing with. So at the time, I'm currently building my strategy, my model. But I'm going to be basically following the liquidity sweep model, the ICT 2022 mentorship, or silver bullet. So these are the models that I started with and helped me get funded. The only thing is that I didn't have the rules in place after I got funded. But as I said, I've been gaining data on a new model, a new strategy, and I'm still kind of developing this model to give me an edge, and also just one that is kind of my style. But this is the easy part. Your model, your strategy, that's the easy part, because there's so many strategies out there. There's so many models out there, and that's why I was telling you guys that once you find your model, once you find your strategy, like, don't keep watching other strategy videos and other models. Like, just stick to the one, and then stick to your rules and stick to your system. And then just kind of some notes here. This is looks horrible, but you get what I'm trying to say. Some notes, something that, you know, I like to remind myself of, something that I like to always keep in mind, you know, patience, discipline, most important, perseverance, wisdom, emotional control. Okay, this is something that I like to remind myself to have in the charts. And let me think of some other notes. Trust in your system. Trust your gut. Stay a student. Okay. Now, this is my 2025 trading system, and basically what I'm going to be doing in 2025, coupled with all the lessons that I've learned, like over trading, revenge trading, not staying disciplined, not following my rules, not following my model, you know, taking random setups and strategies. You know, all those lessons I'm also going to be taking into 2025. Basically, this is my system, guys. Like, if you guys wanted to know, this is my trading system, and this is basically all you need for a system. You know, you need to have your, you know, how much are you risking per trade? What is your max daily loss? What are you trading? What session? How many trades? You know, what are your rules? You know, if A doesn't happen, then you can't take a trade. Or if A and B happens, or only take a trade if A and B happens, or et cetera, et cetera. You know, just kind of find some rules that you want to set in place. And the rules are basically meant to help you avoid losing and blowing your account. So these are my rules. Obviously, I'm going to keep refining this. I'm going to keep adding, you know, as I'm trading and seeing mistakes that I'm making, I'm going to basically create rules based on those mistakes and add them to my model, to my system. And then you just need a model, a strategy that you're going to be trading, you know, at this time, on what pair, how much are you going to risk, what's the model, what's the your entry, how much are you going to risk. So for me, that was a 1 to 2 minimum RR, meaning you're risking 1% to make 2%. And then just some notes to remind yourself as you're trading, just some things to always keep in mind. So this is my 2025 trading system. This is the things that I'm going to be using to become a consistent, profitable trader. The most important thing is your psychology. Actually, let me add that right here. Psychology is the most important thing. Okay, it's terrible, but this is what I'm gonna put for my psychology. Semen retention, delaying gratification, and avoiding what else? Avoiding pleasure, avoiding women and stuff like that. Because this is what I've been noticing that is going to help me stay disciplined. It's going to help me stay patient. It's going to help me have emotional control, right? Because if you can't say no to a woman, a 10 out of 10 woman who comes up to you and wants to take you home, if you can't say no to her, how do you expect to say no, to have that discipline, when you don't see your model setting up, right? Or let's just say, like, how are you going to, like, you see a trade, how are you going to say no to taking that trade if you can't even say no to women? For example, right? This is you know, some things that I'm taking into for my psychology, but I promise you guys these things here, bro, because as you know, there's trading and then there's your personal life, and they tie in, like they go hand in hand. So if I'm saying no to all these things in my personal life, in my trading, I'll be able to say no to bad setups. I'll be able to say no to FOMO. I'll be able to say no to greed. I'll be able to say no to what else? Revenge trading. Okay? So if I can say no, for example, to this, which is the most difficult thing to say no to as a man, I know, trust me, then these will be easy. Okay? So this is my trading system for 2025. Hope you guys can take some value from this. Hope you guys learned something. And yeah, see you guys in the next video.